Hello everyone, it's Christine here, and this will be a shorter video, but I wanted to share an experiment that I have been doing since January of this year, where I have left friction marker on my Perpetual calendar and also on a little test piece of what we call calico here in Australia, but is called muslin in the US, where I wrote on this piece of calico in black friction marker, in blue friction marker, and in red friction marker, and I left it on the windowsill because what I have heard from some folks is that the friction marker will stain the fabric and not come out when heat is applied to it. So I wanted to test it both on the ones that I left in the sun, and you can see even the red has actually faded even a bit more. Even these ones have faded a bit since I did them. And then my calendar, my Perpetual calendar, which I wrote on for the month of January, including my ideas column and then what was happening in my craft room in that month as well. And so I'm going to iron them now. I've got my iron next to me and see what happens. So yeah, this piece I wrote on the 14th of January 2024, and I wrote testing the friction marker in UV, 14th of Jan, and then this one wasn't in direct UV but was next to a window on a notice board. So let's perhaps start with our little UV piece first. So I'm going to get my iron and we're going to apply it, and we're going to see if any staining is left on it once the heat is applied. I've only just turned my iron on, so I will just give it a good amount of ironing. I'm just ironing on my on a blanket on my mat. I don't like to iron on my wool mat because if the iron puts out any steam or moisture, even if it doesn't, it can actually make moisture underneath the mat, which isn't something you want. Okay, so I'm going to bring that up nice and close to the camera, and all I can see is only the very, very faintest. And I am interested now, if I just apply a little bit more, I can see a very, very faint marking left on the calico. But let's see if that will, let's put the iron up to full heat, and I'll just hold it there for a moment, make sure we're giving it the full test. And what have we got? See, that's, yeah, I can vaguely make out the very, I can't make anything out. Oh, maybe I can make something out slightly over there, but otherwise, if I didn't know I was looking for writing, I think I would struggle to actually see anything. I am interested though, if it does get like a really good application of heat, whether it will fully disappear. But otherwise, I guess we'd have to say there is a very, very slight residual marking left. But yeah, I think I would really struggle to see it. I'll leave it up to you whether you think you can, yeah, you can see much there. It's pretty minor. Now let's have a look on our calendar. So I am interested to see how this goes, because I'm hoping this can be a Perpetual calendar that I can use year after year and write on it with friction marker. And it's looking pretty good. So it might be the difference between, because I can't even see anything left on this, so it might be the difference between leaving it in UV in an extreme sense on a windowsill, which most of us don't do with our stitchery anyway, because light can fade other things like the fabrics and things. This one hasn't been in the direct UV, it's just been in the room next to the window, but not with UV or sunlight sort of shining on it. So we've given that an iron, and we had writing all over it, but I can't see any residual writing whatsoever. So that is definitely interesting. There's definitely a very, very minor residual on the fabric exposed to UV, and nil visible on the fabric that wasn't in the direct sunlight. So that's something to think about if you are making your your perpetual calendar. Don't put it in the very direct sunlight, or if you're doing other marking of things, because I think folks were also concerned that where I had designed up and put the outlines around these, that the lines might be visible. In fact, we can test over here. There's a tiny bit of friction marker left on that. Let's just give it an iron and see if that comes out too. Well, now the iron's up to full heat, it's making a bit of steam, so I'm going to iron that other bit of calico as well and just give it a final little test, because I can just see very faint writing. I don't think it's got much water. I don't think it's got water in it for steaming, but let's just give it a good go. Yeah, it is so faint on this, but it's totally invisible on this. Yeah, you just can't see any of the lines. In fact, there's some old faint line. I don't know if I ever actually ironed over these after doing it, but yeah, the line's coming perfectly out. So yeah, if it's not exposed to UV, I reckon it's fine to use friction marker on calico. As I've said in other videos, if you have a dark fabric, the friction marker can actually leave almost like a bleach line on it when you erase it. But on light fabrics like a calico, I'm very comfortable to use it on something like this, and even something that is exposed to UV for an extreme period. So essentially for 5 months in the direct sun, which gets the full afternoon brunt of the sun. This is pretty good just to have a very minor that I just think if I gave this to someone, they wouldn't actually even be able to see the very faint writing. So hopefully you found that experiment interesting, and a great little chance again to see my beautiful stitchery swap squares. I'll include a link to where I created this perpetual calendar. It is going to be a perpetual activity because I haven't finished doing it for all of the months of the year yet, so I think it will be something that builds up over time, because I do want to get a place for all of my stitchery swap squares. And I'll include a little link to the Ainu Running Stitch video as well, which is this lovely stitch that I've used for the grid lines. So thank you for watching, and hopefully that was interesting and educational, because I've seen lots of debate on this issue, so I wanted to do an actual experiment, and really pleased I've done that. That's given me a fair bit of peace of mind. So thanks everyone, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.